The Thoughts Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Lee. Today, let's talk about the idea of challenge. And what's your greatest challenge today? I can tell you right now, it's your own limited thoughts. You have been so conditioned, so domesticated by the thinking of your mom and dad, by the thinking of your religion, by the thinking of your family, by the thinking of your friends, by the thinking of society, by the thinking that's proposed on television, magazines, social media, that you have been limited because you can only create as much as you're able to conceive. But if you can't conceive more than what you're currently conceiving, well, guess what? You're stuck. No other way to say that. You're just stuck. So as I think about this, you've really got to become like a child again, because children don't have limiting. They're ready to try just about anything. And that made our parents nuts, didn't it? We were going to try and we're going to do whatever. Bum, 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 bum. I know. I was like 14 years old. So I wasn't a child. I was just a young teenager. And I was living in Dearborn, Michigan. And I remember this was a time of the hippie movement. So that would have been 14. So it would have been 65, hippie movement. And what I decided to do is I wanted to know what that was about. So I understood that there was this block called Plum Street in downtown Detroit where all the hippies hung out. So what did I do? I skipped school. And I got in the bus from Dearborn all the way down to Plum Street. And I had to walk about half a mile off of where the bus was to get to Plum Street. And it was not in a nice area. I wasn't scared. I had a mission. So I went. I got there. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. But I had no fear. I was willing to do something that I thought would bring me a greater sense of joy, greater sense of freedom, whatever it is. I also remember when I was like 9 or 10, I had $1. And I saw this advertisement. This is way back, gang. Way back. I saw this advertisement for McDonald's. And McDonald's was like 4 miles from my house. And at this age of 9 or 10, I just got on my bike. Didn't tell my mom and dad. Just drove. Just rode my bike. I was exhausted when I got there. Got my McDonald's burger, my fries, and a shake for under $1. Under $1. Ate it, drove home. Never thinking of the consequences that when I got home, I'd be grounded. Again, today, I'm much more cautious than. I don't know that that's good or bad. Probably a little bit of both. But I also know that I have limiting thoughts. And I have to constantly remind myself and go back into being my childlike mind. The childlike mind that just sees infinite possibilities. And it's an attitude that anything I put my mind to is possible. You ever done that? Did you ever know you were going to be a success? Did you know how? I know that when I was a young person at Sacred Heart Elementary in 8th grade, I knew that I was going to be successful at whatever I did. The next year I went to the seminary. I knew that wasn't right for me, so I left. Then I put my heart and soul into the idea, I'm going to go up the corporate ladder, just like my friend Gregory Schloff's dad did. And then I had no doubt how it was going to happen. Didn't know. I just proceeded. And guess what? I achieved it. I didn't know how I was going to start a spiritual center, but I knew I would, and I'd done it. I didn't know that I'd be speaking to people all over the world. I just never doubted it. And I just took a step every moment in that direction. I didn't allow fear of the unknown, fear of the opinions of others to disrupt me. My greatest challenge in succeeding and what I choose to succeed at is my own perceptions of myself and the possibilities on whether or not I could achieve them. Once I put those perceptions down, man, it's gone. Amy, you can do it. You just got to start one little step at a time. This is the thing. We hear someone's story and we go, oh my God, that's so great. But it's a big story. It didn't start out big. It was one step and then another step and another step. It's like, I remember talking to my wife when my wife wanted to lose weight. I simply said, stop focusing on, let's say, I'll pick a number. Stop focusing on 25 pounds. You can't believe it. It's too big. Can you lose a half a pound in a week? You can. That's your goal. Half a pound in a week. Guess what happens in a year? 26 pounds. You see, we live in the human world. And in the human world, there's time. But in time, we can always take a new step. We are never stopped from taking a new step. So what new step can you believe? That's right. I love that. Amy ordered The Science of Mind. It's a difficult book to read. It's not an easy book to read, but there are pearls of wisdom all through it. I don't know who Kissed is, but Kiss says Grand Rising. Love it. I love that you're checking in. I like to see your faces and your names out there. It lets me know that I'm talking to some children, some people who have vivid imaginations, some people who want to create a whole new world, some people that want to be a part of a world that works for everyone, where we're in love and we don't judge, but we allow people to be their unique selves. Not only is your greatest challenge your own limiting thought, your greatest challenge is stepping outside of everyone else's preconceived notion of who you should be, and you taking the reins of the horse and you controlling what uniqueness you're going to be and how you're going to express that uniqueness in the world. And that means you can't give a flip about the approval of others. And that, my friends, is hard for people because we're always seeking approval of others. That's why social media is, people are so addicted. Got to have likes, got to have loves, got to have approval of others. I'm on social media. I put out messages like this, thoughts for the day, this type of message, that type of message. I don't care what people think. I'm giving my very best. And if the people like it, they come back. If they don't, they don't. You see, that's the attitude in life. You're not going to be able to change anyone's mind. You get that. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm not changing your minds. I'm just giving you ideas to think about. Whether you use them or not, that's not my responsibility. I can't be held accountable for that. You can, if you choose to. The greatest sense of responsibility is the one you put on yourself. And you're responsible for growing, for becoming more of the unique beingness that you are. When you embrace that, life starts to flow. Life starts to expand. Life starts to glow. Expansion is about more life. Can you dig it? Oh, I love it. So today, take a step. One step. Doesn't have to be a big one, but one step into you, your uniqueness. What does your heart desire today? Only you know. Follow your heart. It will never lead you astray. Much love, everyone. Aloha.